Hello, my pretties! Welcome to Perfectly Wretched, the third expansion in the Disney Villainous game. Today we're finishing up this set with Mother Gothel from the 2010 film Tangled. So we've gone from the old school black and white shorts all the way to the 21st century revival. Tangled is still an old-fashioned fairy tale though, right? You want me to be the bad guy? Fine, now I'm the bad guy. Very strong villain quote. Like the other characters in this set, Mother Gothel has a few extra pieces of setup. This Rapunzel tile works like a fate card, except it starts the game already in her realm and never leaves. Mother Gothel also has to earn trust to win her game, so I have my own personal set of trust tokens for that purpose. You'll notice on Mother Gothel's realm that 2 of her locations have only 1 action symbol on the top row and 3 on the bottom, instead of the usual 2 and 2. This is because Rapunzel is always in her realm, like I mentioned earlier, so for balance reasons the action symbols are moved around a bit. While I finish setting this up, if you want to keep these videos coming, you can support my work at ko-fi.com/Strugi, and you can follow me at dstrugi on Twitter to see what else I'm up to. And of course, click on the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future playthrough videos. At the start of the game, we set Rapunzel at the top of Rapunzel's tower. At the end of each turn, Rapunzel will move 1 location toward Corona. If she's at Corona already at the end of your turn, Mother Gothel loses 1 trust. During the game, you'll be playing cards and taking actions to get Rapunzel back to the tower, and she'll keep trying to get away from you. I'm playing solitaire style, so I'm giving myself 20 turns to win and keeping track of my turns on this 20-sided die. I also have this custom pair of fate dice for performing fate actions. One is rolled between turns to play fate on myself, and the other is rolled when I cast my own fate actions. Mother Gothel's objective is to start your turn with at least 10 trust. During the course of this game, you'll play cards and perform actions to gain trust from Rapunzel. A lot of Gothel's game involves playing certain combos to earn the most trust you can in 1 turn. The more control you have over Rapunzel, the closer you keep her to this side of the realm than to that side of the realm, the more trust you'll be able to earn. If she ends up at Corona, you lose trust. Now, the original game doesn't come with separate trust tokens. You'll see that just above Gothel's objective is the word trust, where you're supposed to place power tokens every time you gain trust. Once a power token is placed there, it's not power anymore, it's a trust token. You can't use it to pay the cost of cards, and it doesn't count towards your total power. But many enterprising fans have created their own custom trust tokens, and several are available on Etsy if you look them up. I bought these beauties from a bead seller because they're bright yellow and have the sun design on them that looks a lot like the emblem of the Kingdom of Corona. They look great, and it helps to clarify the difference between my trust and my power. With all that explained, let's jump into our first turn. We'll draw our first hand of 4 cards to start. We've got a couple of allies, 1 of our condition cards, and this interesting effect card. If you want to take a risk, you can use this to move Rapunzel away from the tower and still collect trust. Depends on your strategy. Your Royal Guard is your most common ally. You have several of these in your deck. Their basic function is to act as an escort for Rapunzel to move her back to the tower. I'll move to the Snuggly Duckling first to pick up my 3 power. And then right away I'm going to play Misdirection, which moves Rapunzel but also gives me my first trust. Then I'll play Royal Guard, not to Rapunzel's current location, but to her future location. I'm going to keep the other cards in my hand because they're pretty good, and then I'll draw my hand back up to 4. I've got a nice big ally here that's useful for taking out stronger heroes, but I prefer to keep him on hand so I can use his ability to send Rapunzel right back to the tower. And with that, I'll end my turn. I have to remember to move Rapunzel each time before I turn my counter down. Hopefully I don't forget and have to start the whole game over again. I'll turn my counter down to 19, and I'll use my Fate attack die to roll for Fate. I rolled a 0, which is a neutral result, so nothing happens. For my next turn, I'm going to move to the forest, gain 2 power, and use my move action to move the Royal Guard, which moves Rapunzel too. Then I'll get this Royal Rider out just in case I need him. Pretty good second turn. I'll draw my hand back up to 4, which gives me this condition card I can use to defeat heroes. So it's the end of our turn again, which means we have to move Rapunzel again. She's not at Corona yet, so I don't lose the trust I've gained. Then we dial our turn counter down to 18 and roll the die for Fate. We've rolled the pink play a card symbol, which means I can play one of my condition cards. I'll play Egomania to move Rapunzel back to the tower. Egomania's condition is that another player has to move an ally or item, and that's a pretty common action, so it's a good idea to hold onto this card when you have it. So let's bring our girl back home. I'll move to Corona for the start of my next turn. That word has a lot of loaded meaning these days, doesn't it? It's where the good guys live in the movie, and the word just means crown, so it's not a bad thing, but it feels weird to say now. It'll be a good word again someday, though. Let's gain that 1 power. We'll perform a fate action using the gold and white fate defense die now. I rolled the fate symbol, which means I get to put the fate token on top of my fate deck and be protected from fate actions for 1 turn. And since I have no heroes in my realm at the moment, I'm going to discard these 2 cards that deal with heroes. I'm hoping to find certain items I need to help me gain more trust. And I drew the same card I just got rid of, and another Royal Guard. There it is, the crown. I can use this to gain power or trust depending on how I play it. Let's move Rapunzel. Turn our counter down to 17, and we'll roll the fate attack die. We're protected against fate actions for this turn, but other things can happen. We rolled a 0, so nothing happens to us. I'll remove the fate token and start my next turn. I'm going to move to the forest and gain 2 power. Pretty generous of them to put 2 large power symbols on the bottom row of Mother Gothel's board. I'm playing a Royal Guard to Corona just in case Rapunzel makes it all the way there, and I'll play the crown for when I need it later. I'll draw up now and... oh, this is a very good card. Mother Knows Best. You can keep Rapunzel in her place with this one. And this is one of the best cards for gaining trust. If you play it right, you can gain 2 trust at once. So that's the end of our turn, and we'll move Rapunzel. Turn our counter down to 16. And we'll roll for fate. We rolled -1, so we lose 1 power. Next turn, moving to Rapunzel's tower. I'll move this Royal Guard to Rapunzel's location, and I'll use him and the Royal Rider to vanquish Rapunzel. I'm not going to discard the crown because I want to use its power gaining ability in this case. So when Rapunzel is defeated, she's not removed from the board. Instead, she moves back to Rapunzel's tower. And now I can play I Love You Most and gain not 1, but 2 trust. 3 down, 7 to go. We've drawn another copy of Egomania, so we'll end our turn, move Rapunzel 1 location toward Corona, and dial the counter down to 15. Thus far, we haven't had fate played on us yet, so my solitaire rule is that every 5 turns, if you haven't been fated, you automatically get fated. So I won't even roll the die. Let's draw. We've got 1 hero and 1 item. Frying Pan is useful for buffing Rapunzel up and making her harder to defeat and send back to the tower. Now, there's some fan debate on whether the Frying Pan gets removed when you defeat Rapunzel. Normally, when you defeat a hero, you remove them from the board, but since Rapunzel stays in the realm, some players wonder if the Frying Pan stays too. But I think it makes more sense that it's removed, like the hero gets set back to square one, right? And I've seen comments from the game designers saying that that's the intended rule, so that's what I go with. In any case, I'm not playing Frying Pan, I'm playing Pascal. His ability moves Rapunzel another space toward Corona when she moves to his location. So I like to play him to Rapunzel's tower. Then, every time Rapunzel gets moved back there, she automatically moves away. This way, Mother Gothel can never get Rapunzel all the way to the tower without first defeating Pascal. Slippery little lizard. Now we're going to go to the forest and gain 2 power. We'll move the crown, and we'll play Mother Knows Best, which means Rapunzel won't move at the end of this turn. Now I'll draw my hand back up to 4, and I got this useful card. What once was mine lets you retrieve a card from your discard. Since Mother Gothel depends so much on finding certain cards to pull off her combos, this is very handy. So it's the end of my turn already, and I'll move... Wait, I don't move Rapunzel because I played Mother Knows Best. What I should have done was put a power token on Rapunzel to remind me of that. So I'll do that now, and Rapunzel will stay put. So we'll turn our die down to 14 and give a roll for fate. A 0 again. Fate's being eerily quiet during this game. I'm going to go to Corona, and I'll gain 1 power. Then I'll perform a fate action using my fate defense die. And I rolled a +1, so I gain 1 power. Then I'm going to discard my condition cards, even though I said it was a good idea to hang on to them, because again, I'm looking for certain items in my deck. Drawing my hand back up to 4 gives me an effect and another Royal Guard. And now I'll remove Rapunzel's block and move her to the forest. And I'll turn the counter down to 13. Then we'll roll for fate. That's the condition symbol, so I obviously shouldn't have discarded my condition cards. I could have defeated Pascal. Oh well, lesson learned. We're going to move to the forest, gain 2 power, move the crown over to Rapunzel's tower just beneath Pascal. Then I'm going to play Royal Guard for 1 power. Oops. You can see why keeping trust and power tokens distinct is useful here. Drawing my hand up gets me another Royal Guard. Rapunzel moves all the way to Corona now, and if she's still there at the end of my next turn, I lose 1 trust. So we've got to hustle. We're dialing the turn counter down to 12, giving the fate die a little roll. And there's the fate symbol. Let's see what we've got. We've drawn a couple of heroes. Hook Hand makes Gothel discard a random card from her hand. Very cute. And the King and Queen make me lose trust, so that seems like the right card to play right now. So we do that and we lose 1 trust. We've got to get Rapunzel out of Corona or we'll lose more trust. We're moving to Rapunzel's tower and defeating Pascal using the Royal Guard. And I'll discard the crown to gain 1 trust for that action. Then I'll play this Stabbington brother to Corona, which lets me move Rapunzel all the way back to the tower. Say goodbye to the Queen and King, darling. End of our turn. We've drawn another Royal Guard, which I think is all of them. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total in our deck. Moving Rapunzel and then dialing our turn counter down to 11, and then rolling our fate die. We lose 1 power. Let's move to the Snuggly Duckling for our next turn. Gain 2 power. And we're going to play Revenge! That lets us perform a Vanquish action and gain trust if the defeated hero is someone other than Rapunzel. And it is. It's the King and Queen, taken out by Sideburns Stabbington. So tragic. Lets us then play another Royal Guard for 1 power and move him and Rapunzel back to the tower. Drawing our hand back up gives us another What Once Was Mine and another I Love You Most. Quite nice. Rapunzel makes a break for it again. We turn our counter down to 10, and we roll the fate attack die. That gives us the condition symbol again, which isn't any use to us right now. This is tricky now because I have I Love You Most, and I could gain 1 trust by moving to the Snuggly Duckling and playing it there. But I want to get the 2nd trust for being at Rapunzel's tower too, so I can't pull this off just yet. I'll move to the Snuggly Duckling, gain my 3 power, play another Royal Guard, then I'll just end the turn and draw up. Here's an effect that you can use as a last resort. Now I'm the bad guy moves Rapunzel all the way to the tower, but costs you 1 trust. I try not to play this one if I don't have to, unless it's my only option or I have a way to quickly gain back the trust I lost. So we move Rapunzel, we turn our counter down to 9, and we roll for fate. Another condition symbol that we have no use for. And I'm going to the forest, and moving my Royal Guard and Rapunzel, gaining my 2 power. I'm playing What Once Was Mine, and I'm picking up Mother Knows Best from my discard. Then I'm playing Mother Knows Best to keep Rapunzel from moving at the end of this turn. That's the end for now, and I'll draw back my hand. Here's a nice item. I can attach this knife to an ally to make them stronger, and if they defeat Rapunzel, I gain a trust. That's a little dark, but the game is called Villainous after all. We don't move Rapunzel, we do turn our counter down to 8, and we do roll for fate. We lose 1 power. Now, here we go. We're going to move to Rapunzel's tower, and then before we do anything else, because I've forgotten to do this before, we're going to perform a fate action. Give it a little shake, and we rolled Fate Protection. And now we'll perform that move action and bring the Royal Guard and Rapunzel back to the tower. And then we can play I Love You Most for 1 power and gain 2 trust. Let's draw our hand back up to 4. We have another copy of Now I'm the Bad Guy that I'm hopefully not going to have to play. Then we'll end our turn and move Rapunzel. Turn our counter down to 7 and roll for fate. We rolled fate, but we're protected for this turn, so we simply remove the fate token and start our next turn. I'm going to go to the Snuggly Duckling, gain 3 power, and I'm going to attach this knife to a royal guard. And I'm going to discard these. Draw our hand back up. Here we go. I was looking for this effect. Let down your hair moves Rapunzel back towards the tower, and if she's already there, you gain a trust. And then we get another misdirection and another royal rider. We'll turn the counter down to 6 and move Rapunzel. Then roll for fate. Okay, let's see what we get. We've drawn a hero and an effect. Shorty's ability sounds simple, but if you know Mother Gothel is trying to pull off a combo by moving to a certain location, he can thwart her by moving her somewhere else. Also, in the movie and the TV show, he's played by Paul F. Tompkins, whom I love. He's just... I don't know what his deal is, but Shorty's playing the game of life by his own rules, and he disrupts every scene he's in with delightful nonsense. So this card definitely fits his character. I love him. But we're going to play the effect. There are 3 copies of Everyone Has a Dream in Mother Gothel's Fate deck, and it's the easiest way to set her back by robbing her of 1 trust. And that puts us back at the halfway mark in our objective. We'll start our next turn now. Watch this. This is going to be cool. We'll move to Rapunzel's tower. I'm going to move a royal guard over here. Then I'll play Misdirection for 1 power, which moves Rapunzel to Corona, but also gains me 1 trust back. Then I'll perform a Vanquish action on Rapunzel using the royal guard who's got the knife, and that sends Rapunzel all the way back home and gains me another trust. Ta-da! Once again, I forgot to perform a fate action before Rapunzel moved to cover it, but again, I will take that hit because it's my mistake. So I'll draw another card, and I found the other copy of Let Down Your Hair. And we'll go down to 5 turns remaining, and we'll roll... Sorry, first we'll move Rapunzel. Don't want to screw that up this close to victory. And we'll roll the fate symbol. I'm kind of nervous about this right now. Okay, we've got Maximus, who is a sturdy, medium-strength hero, but his ability doesn't do much unless there are royal riders in the realm. So instead I'll play Aging and remove this royal guard so he can't move Rapunzel back to the tower. Royal riders is about as easy to say as rural juror. On to our next turn. Okay. Without that royal guard, I may have to burn off one of these copies of Let Down Your Hair to get Rapunzel back to the tower. I had wanted to play both of them while she was at the tower, but we may have to change our plans. First, I'll move to the forest and gain 2 power. Move the royal guard from the tower. We'll play 1 copy of Let Down Your Hair and move Rapunzel back, and then we'll play our second copy to pick up that 1 trust. So we have 2 more trusts to go. Drawing our hand back up, we found the other Stabbington brother and a copy of Mother Knows Best. Rapunzel moves. We dial our turn counter down to 4, and we roll for fate. We got 0, so nothing happens. Next turn. What have we got here in our hand? Moving to Rapunzel's tower. This time we'll remember to cast a fate action. And we got protection again. Very nice. Then we'll move the guard and Rapunzel back to the tower. And we'll play Mother Knows Best again to keep Rapunzel put at the end of our turn. And finally, the last card in our deck, the item I've been looking for this entire game, the Hairbrush. If you get the Hairbrush early, it's pretty much your main weapon in earning trust. When you play it to Rapunzel's location or move it to her location, you gain a trust. We only have a couple more trusts to gain, so this should help us finish that up. Hairbrush is a prime target for opponents to discard using Aging, but until then, you can get a lot of use out of it, if it's not the last card in your deck. Let's turn that counter down to 3, roll our fate die. We're protected, so we won't suffer the wounds of fate this time. So let's start our turn. We'll remove this token from Rapunzel, and we ourselves will move to the forest. We'll gain that 2 power, we'll move our royal guard, and then at last we'll play the Hairbrush to Rapunzel's tower and gain 1 trust. That's satisfying. Then I'm going to play what once was mine for 1 power, and I want to take back Let Down Your Hair. And now that my villain deck is empty, I'll reshuffle my discard. It's important when you take actions that involve your discard pile that you don't shuffle it back until you're completely done with it. In this case, I was able to have my pick of the whole deck. Now we'll draw a card back into our hand, and I don't think I'll be needing this. So we're done with our turn, and Rapunzel moves away from the tower. We dial our counter all the way down to 2, and we take a roll for fate. That's a condition symbol. We don't have one, so we move on. We're just going to head right back to Rapunzel's tower and use that move action to move the hairbrush to her location. And that earns us the last trust token we need. Keep in mind that the hairbrush moves only when you move the brush to Rapunzel, not when Rapunzel moves to the hairbrush. Important distinction there. Let's perform a fate action. We gain 1 power. And just for the heck of it, we'll play Patchy Stabbington for 3 power and move Rapunzel back to the tower. We draw 1 more Royal Guard. We move Rapunzel, hopefully for the last time, and we turn our counter down to 1. This is it, folks. This is the end of our turns. Let's see what happens with fate. We rolled -1, but we don't have any power to lose, so our next turn starts. And we've gained our 10 trust, so that wins the game. Fate was slightly easy on us in this game. We didn't get hit by floating lights, which moves Rapunzel all the way to Corona. I don't think Mother Gothel's deck, hero-wise, is very strong. It's really in the effects where you can hurt her, like Everyone Has a Dream and Aging, both of which we played during this game. Ulf is really good for keeping Royal Guards from being able to move Rapunzel, so I usually play him against Mother Gothel if I get the chance. Flynn Rider never showed up, the rogue. He immediately costs Gothel 2 trust, but she can gain it back if she defeats him. Thanks for joining me for this game, everyone. If you want to support my work and keep these videos coming, you can find me at ko-fi.com/Strugi. And you can follow me on Twitter @dstrugi to see what else I'm up to. Meanwhile, here on YouTube, be sure to subscribe so you can catch the latest videos. Mother Gothel is the 3rd and last villain in the Perfectly Wretched expansion, but I'm going to release a second, shorter replay of Cruella just so you don't have to sit through the hour-long one I made earlier. And in the weeks to come, I'll be doing the same for all the other villains. Next up, though, I'll be playing through the new expansion, Despicable Plots, starring Gaston, Lady Tremaine, and Horned King. And if that weren't enough, stay tuned for a playthrough of my homemade Chernabog game, coming very soon. Have fun till next time.